in my opening remarks my concern about driver training. Now, Congress has the same concern and expressed that concern in the FAST Act when it directed the FMCSA to give, quote, safety the highest priority. So I was heartened that after 25 years there was a rulemaking that was going to get all of the factors, especially the number of hours of training necessary. And lo and behold, you did. You had negotiated rulemaking. Negotiated rulemaking is consensus rulemaking. So while you had disparate actors, they agreed on 15 to 30 hours of training, depending on other factors. That was a triumph after 25 years. Now, last year, that rule came out without those minimum number of hours. It seems to me that you have not met the congressional mandate to give safety the highest priorities if you've left the most important factor, the number of hours of training, out of the rule. So how do you reconcile? Why, indeed, were those hours which the stakeholders agreed upon not made a part of the rule?
Ranking Member Holmes Norton, safety is our highest priority. The entry-level driver training rule was a negotiated rulemaking. A key part of that negotiation was developing curriculum that sets a minimum standard for commercial driver training.
Ms. Jefferson, I'm going to ask you to answer my question. I didn't say that you didn't develop an appropriate curriculum. I thank you for that. I'm asking a very specific question. If you were able to get such disparate stakeholders to agree on the number of hours training necessary, why did the rule not include that since there was agreement on that factor?
The number of hours...
15 to 30 hours.
15 to 30 hours, depending on the class of the CDL.
And the license, et cetera, yes.
And those hours were based on the minimum level of curriculum that was agreed to. That curriculum, that course requirement, is a part of the rule. There has been no change.
Why was 15 to 30 hours not a part of the rule, Ms. Jefferson?
The 15 to 30 hours was used as a minimum to get to those courses. In order to get through the courses and to allow for the flexibility, it's a minimum. It may very well take longer to get through the curriculum.
Are you saying that in order to get through the curriculum, that I congratulate you for issuing, that you will have had to have 15 to 30 hours of on-the-road training?
It depends on the skill set that somebody brings into the program. We're setting the curriculum that they're required to have. In order to successfully complete entry-level driver training, they will have to complete the curriculum that was agreed to.
Are you saying, Ms. Jefferson, this is very confusing. Are you saying that the curriculum involves on-the-road driver training or not? Is that your testimony?
That is a part of the entry-level driver training requirement. We just did not state a minimum number of hours. The curriculum that the industry, as well as the driver training schools and academics developed, is what was included in the rule. That's a minimum level of training that's required for the CDL.
On-the-road driver training. So you think the rule already incorporates the 15 to 30 hours on the route because of the curriculum and what's necessary to, in fact, pass the curriculum?
We do. We believe that what's in the final rule is sufficient to provide a standard level of entry-level driver training across the country. It's taken 20-plus years to get there, but it gives us 25 years. Yes.
Ms. Jefferson, I will take another look at it. The fact that you eschewed the number of hours seemed to me to be very strange. I do want to ask, what's wrong with us, Mr. Danielson? We find that driver accidents, fatalities are going up. And then I was given some figures that show that U.S. traffic fatality rate is twice the average of 19 other high-income countries. Why is that? What are they doing that we are not doing?
Ranking Member Norton, the increase that we saw in 2015 was, by rate, was the highest increase that we saw in 50 years. But it coincided with another historic increase, which was a rate increase of vehicle miles traveled. There is no single cause to the increase in fatalities. However, we do know that over 90% of serious crashes are due to human choice and error. And that's why NHTSA, 2/3 of NHTSA's budget goes directly out to the states in the form of formula grants to address these serious behavioral issues, which are the choice to speed, to drink and drive, to send a text from behind the wheel. But to address your specific question about the comparison, last year, NHTSA joined with FMCSA and Federal Highway, along with the National Safety Council, to launch the Road to Zero initiative, which is an unprecedented initiative involving over 300 partners of behavioral safety, vehicle manufacturers, road user groups, with the goal of driving this trend back down and completely eliminated roadway fatalities over the span of 30 years. This is akin to what other countries have done. The country of Sweden, which is on the other side of many of the charts that you'll see from where the U.S. is, embarked on this 20 or 30 years ago, and it has had a tremendous effect by bringing all of these different groups together to address this complicated behavioral question.
So we're now doing what other countries have already done, and you expect that to drive down these fatalities and injuries.
That is the goal.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Boss.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.